Welcome back. For part 2 of our Build a Background tutorial, I'm going to show you what you can do with your overlays now that you have a pattern created that you like. So this is one of the great parts of having used the pattern tool to create your overlay, is that you have the grid and the tile in separate layers, and so it gives you a lot more versatility in your design. So I have opened up a paper here. You can see it peeking out from behind my overlay, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the two layers that I've used to create this overlay and select them both by holding down the Control key on my keyboard while I click them, and I'm just going to drag them over into my paper while holding down the Shift key, because this will center them nicely. And there you can see they're now in my paper. So I'll just minimize that to get it out of the way. And now you can see I have my overlay here on top of my paper. And I'm just going to start playing with this to get a look that I like. The first thing I'm going to do is grab my grid layer, and I'm going to switch the blending mode on it to soft light, and that gives a really nice blended look. Now I want to add some extra color to my top layer, and to do this I'm just going to change the color, I think, to a nice brown. Get a good creamy color in there. And I'm going to change the color, and we've done this before, so you should know how to do it by now. Go to Image Adjustments, Hue Saturation, and click the Colorize button. And then because it's black, I have to change the lightness quite a bit to get it to pop out here. And just play with the sliders until you have a pretty good match of what you want. There we go. I like that. And now you can do the same thing. You can leave the color here, you can apply a style to it, or you can go and play with the blending modes. There's color burn and linear burn, which I really like here. I like how it pulls out the red. Now you can save it like this, or you can keep going. Actually, I'm going to take a minute here to stop and show you how easy it is now to completely center this. Again, I've selected both of my overlay layers, and I'm going to grab my Move tool, and now because I created my overlay canvas at 17 inches, I have a lot of room here to move things around and get everything centered just so. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay. Now you can save it here. I like to grunge things up. I really love the whole grunge look. So now you could add another overlay to get a grunge look. I like using my eraser tools, and I have some grunge brushes. A favorite of mine is Amanda Rockwell's brushes. So I'm just going to load up my favorite brush sets here. And once they're loaded, I can come in and grab a nice grungy brush. And I really like Amanda Rockwell's brushes because they are so large and they cover your whole paper almost. So it's really easy to get the look that you want. Now I'm going to bump down the opacity on my eraser to 30%. And I'm going to grab my top layer here, which is my tile layer. And I'm going to change up some of my brush settings because I don't want it to go in a straight line. And I'm just going to change the shape dynamics. Bring up the size jitter to 100%, the angle jitter to 100%, the roundness to around 50, and then flip X and flip Y. And once I have my brush set, it will rotate as I'm erasing so that I don't get any obvious brush lines. I'm just going to come and start erasing my top tiles a little bit, just to give them some grungy, worn texture to them. If I zoom in, you can kind of see that it's taken away chunks and leaving other chunks. It gives it a real uneven look. That looks really nice. And then I'm going to come and do the same thing to my grid layer. Just erase it in chunks. You can switch brushes to get different looks. Take a little more away in certain areas than you do others. It's fun to wear the center of your papers down to almost nothing so that there's a nice open space in the center for photos and things like that. And there, I've got it all grunged up. You can see how nice it looks. And in just a few steps here, I have made a gorgeous paper. And if I had saved the other tiles, I could just keep stacking them in and saving my papers. And before you know it, you have an entire set of papers put together in no time at all using this great design tool. So I hope you enjoy the Build a Background set, and I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Have fun creating.